Redditors who cut their grass at 7 a.m. on Saturday morning and wake up the whole neighborhood. Why do you do it? Because my parents made me obligatory edit. Wow. This blew up. Every Saturday growing up, my dad would come wake us up between 6 and 7 to do it. He said it was to beat the heat, but I learned quickly that it's just because he was in butthole. Was the same reason my dad stomped around in hard-soled slippers. As a kid/teen, I wasn't allowed to sleep in, had to get up and clean the bathroom with a toothbrush. Moved home for a bit and worked nights most of the time, still did it. He didn't like that I was back home. If I had gold, you'd get it. This type of comment almost always gets gold. Edit, see? Neighborhood's butthole rooster woke me up at 6:30, so I might as well mow. What a vagina. And on that bombshell, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to end. Good night. Cue best music in the world. Tonight, I learned to play a concertina. James writes with a fountain pen. And Richard upsets his neighbors with a lawnmower. Hammond. I used to have a neighbor that I guess wanted to take advantage of the headlights on the front of his riding lawnmower, so he would mow after 10 p.m. at night. It didn't keep me from sleeping, but it was weird to hear a mower going at bedtime. My neighbor mows after dark with a headlamp. He started out using a handheld flashlight. I don't care if he does it, but I'm dying to know why. It gets a better cut because you catch the grass sleeping. Edit, just saw I am one among many to make this comment. In a weird way, this might actually be close to the truth. I know it is better to trim plants at different times of the day and year. Maybe super into lawn care, that or meth. Plants get burned when you cut them at daylight, especially in hot season. Edit, to add more clarity, the phenomenon in question is evapotranspiration. Basically, a plant will draw water from the ground to the stem to the leaf, where it will sweat in order to break H2O into oxygen and hydrogen. Now, this phenomenon does not happen unless the weather conditions are good for the plant, meaning if the plant release water, it will benefit from it. Otherwise, when it's too hot or too cold, the plant will preserve water in order to keep itself moist. Now, pardon me from cramming a year's worth of study in few simple words, but this is the most simple this can be brought to. I hope it helps. Also, your best time to cut your grass is after about 1 to 2 hours after sunset. Plant had enough time to generate food and store it, so it need as much as possible of time to recover, so cutting the grass at 11 to 12 p.m. is not exactly the most efficient time. Edit 2, thanks for the awards and the lovely comments. I've long heard not to cut the grass in the morning/noon hours because the midday sun will do extra damage to the already damaged plants. Exactly. Grass and aloe are similar in structure but not size. Think if you chopped an aloe leaf in half, it would be losing moisture out the cut. You do that right before the hot, dry part of the day, more will evaporate. That said, the guy that mows after dark would get a visit from the cops in my neighborhood for a nuisance call. Depending on the time of the year, I would say there's a healthy gap to mow after sunset. Any time before 8 p.m. is acceptable in my book. Around here, if it's lawn mowing season and you want to do it after sunset, it's probably after 8 already. Edit, just checked, mid-March to mid-September sunset is at or after 8 p.m. My scientist X explained it to me like this. During the morning, the grass is wet with dew and it clogs the mower. The now shocked grass has to fight for its life as it tries to survive the hottest part of the day. So morning is not good for you or the grass. Obviously, you shouldn't mow during the day because the grass is already putting all of its energy into trying not to burn. At night, the grass has already had time to cool off and the roots have retained their moisture. So when it's cut and goes into shock, it has the whole night to recover without needing or struggling for water. He also would never cut it as short as most people do. The grass needs length to develop strong roots. I'm not going to lie, our grass was always the healthiest looking. Edit, thanks for the awards. I never thought this comment would garner so much attention. Edit 2, I've been bedridden sick for the past week and today is the first day I feel better. Thank you all for helping me get through the day. I really enjoyed reading all of your responses. I used to have this neighbor in the 90s that would mow the absolute bejesus out of his lawn every third day or so, with the mower deck as low as it would go. By midsummer the guy was basically just mowing dirt. Never understood him. I tried to explain to my landlord in Los Angeles that he didn't need to pay for lawn service every week, to save himself some money. They would come in the middle of the day and mow the dry dead grass down to the dirt. Such a waste of money. Growing up in Mississippi, we had the most ridiculously thick grass and the cheapest gas push mower, all we could afford. I had to cut the yard twice a week during the summer and once a week in the spring/fall, or it would be so thick that it would jam the blade. After that, I've never wanted to have any sort of yard to maintain. Growing up in Ireland, you get the grass cut like once or twice a year and it's fine for the rest of the year. American grass must be the steroidal Zeus of grasses. Edit. I thoroughly apologize for misrepresenting our fair land. The commenters below will have much better lawn care tips for you. What part of Ireland are you in? My grass grows about 2 inches a week. If I cut it only twice a year, I could bale that crap and sell it to the farmer down the road for haylage. Even the fields around me are cut 3 or 4 times a year and the grass will grow to 2 foot tall plus in between cuts. Yeah, there's a reason that so much cotton was grown there. Lots of sun and enough rain. The climate's great for chlorophyll lovers, haha. In fairness, I just looked up how often you're supposed to cut the grass in Ireland to fact check myself, and it did say about once a week in season for perfect lawn care, so maybe I'm just an unambitious fella. This makes sense, actually. Damn, I feel bad now putting my grass in shock every time I cut it. Disclaimer. This is controversial. I took a horticulture class and one of the experiments we did was connecting fig trees to a machine that could detect the plant's stress levels. You could see the plant reacting to our touch and speaking. And then the stupid professor cut into his and the damn thing spiked, which caused everyone's to react. And that day I also learned that plants emit a frequency when they're hurt and they can emit it for half an hour. I swear to you, it has been 20 years since I took that class and I still will not step on grass unless I have no other choice or pull a leaf off a tree or even prune my plants. I've developed the philosophy that the plant just wants to live and I should let it. People think I'm crazy, but that experiment hit my empathy button hard. Let's look at it another way. Bob's brain dead. Scans show nothing is active anymore. But his family can't accept it yet, so they keep his body plugged in. Happens frequently enough? No. Take a knife to Bob's hand and he bleeds. The area even inflames and at a cellular level emits hormonal signals that trigger inflammation and healing, though weakened significantly due to the circumstances. Is he feeling pain? The organs are sending signals in response to a wound, the body is reacting the way it's supposed to, for now, to heal it, and there's certainly the appearance of familiar life, but without a brain to register the pain, it's nothing more than a signal that the area is wounded and needs healing. So, yes, plants emit hormones when wounded. This triggers healing as well as warns other plants that danger may be near. Other plants even respond with an increase in stress hormones as a response to this. But it's a far stretch to say that it registers as pain as we know it, because the mechanism isn't physically there for interpreting those signals as pain instead of simply repair signals. Meanwhile, in South Louisiana, I completely understand why someone would do this. Texas here. Reading all these comments and I'm like, we do it because it's hot and humid 90% of the year. Central Texas. My boyfriend does the yard work as early as possible in the morning for this exact reason. I also prefer he doesn't die of a heat stroke while trying to mow the lawn anytime after 10 a.m. UK here. We just mow if it stops raining for a couple of days. So how many years since the last time it was mown? Yup. That early it's in the 70s. Wait until 9, then it's sunny and 80s. Any later and you risk the 90s and 100s. In the evening when the sun is almost down it's still near 100. Screw that. I do that too, because I get home from work after dark in the fall, but also because I like to use the headlamp I spent $100 on. Sometimes it's fun to go roaming around at night. True, but sometimes it's fun to turn night into day with 2,500 lumens on your head. Go check out our /flashlight. Sorry in advance for your wallet. Reddit link. Our /flashlight a Reddit link. One letter away from danger. Oh damn, thanks, I will always double check my spelling now. Instructions unclear, I can't see a thing and my dick feels weird. It finally happened, someone combined the two flashlight? I live in Texas. Smart people don't cut their grass around here in the daytime. It's just too damned hot. Early morning is best, but late evening can also provide some relief from the heat. I've done this a few times. Working 80 hours a week doesn't leave much time for the lawn, haha. I would have been a sight for the neighbors in summer, shorts, work boots, beer in hand and my hard hat on. Head torch is mounted on my hard hat. Head torch, I understand what it means, but as an American English speaker, this word sounds like it would be a torture instrument or something from Mad Max. My so takes the dogs out at night with a headlamp. It's just the dad-esque thing. Had a friend go on a drunken bender when his wife was out of town for the weekend. He got home from the bars and realized he hadn't cut the yard, so he did it at 2 a.m. Later that day she shows up, there's a trail of cut grass through the house and he's passed out in bed fully clothed. After a while he goes outside and his next door neighbor says, "Thanks man, I appreciate it. But could you not do it at 2 a.m.? My buddy looks down and there's only a semi-straight line of his yard mowed from his garage to his neighbor's yard, and the neighbor's yard is perfectly cut. That's hilarious, but I'd be so effing sketched out if I woke up at 2 a.m. to someone mowing my yard, lol. We had an interesting little cul-de-sac for a few years. To paraphrase Napoleon, never interrupt your neighbor when he's mowing your yard. Haha, legendary. I have a neighbor who does this now, he even leaf blows too. It's weird. One night he was mowing in the dark and pouring rain, lol. I think he's just crazy. Well, considering that it's dark at 4 p.m. here, headlights are a good idea. Mowing at night is the best. Low temperature and dry grass. In the early morning everything is too damp and gets clumped up. You should definitely mow about an hour or so after sunset. I did that once. And boy were some vocal neighbors about that crap. I work 24 shifts, so when I come home I want to go to sleep. When I wake up sometimes it's 9 p.m. I needed to get the yard cleaned up and the bags out for pickup for the leaf people. So I was doing the yard around 10:30 p.m. in the summer. It upset a lot of people. But when I am sleeping at 6 a.m., 9 a.m., 12 p.m., that weed eater disturbs the crap out of me. No one cares about us day sleepers. I worked night shift for almost 5 years, I feel you. But, let's be real, we can't all pretend it's the same thing. We have to realize we're exception living in their world. The moment you let that go, you lose this giant night shift chip off your shoulder and are immediately in a better headspace. I know this isn't much, but the priority is saving your own sanity, not pretending the world is fair. When I worked nights I developed a homicidal rage for the 3 ice cream trucks that felt the need to circle our neighborhood constantly throughout the morning and afternoon, every day, regardless of season. This was the hood, so maybe they were selling more ice than ice cream, but honestly, is there that much competition that you need 3 trucks to cover a 9-block radius all day every day? I was very close to stabbing out their tires. Fair or not, lack of sleep sucks. Edit. The trucks gave me PTSD now every time I hear the music to A Yay 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 Canton Why No Lors. I distinctly remember my neighbor across the street mowing his lawn during the solar eclipse a few years back. You know how birds and insects supposedly go quiet during these things? We still don't know if that's true. We were trying to figure out why the dude couldn't give it literally 2 minutes of rest. Damn it, Mike. Look up. Dude's future wasn't written in the stars. He makes his own future and it starts by having a freshly cut lawn. Why did I read this in Hank Hill's voice, lol? Because that is an all-American, Texan-style, Hank Hill inspirational quote if I ever heard one. They go quiet except the ones that make noise at night. Frogs and crickets revved up their engines for those few minutes. Did you notice the entire sky just kind of went dim, Mike? He just keeps on mowing. My father-in-law is like this. He has missed major life events because he had to mow his lawn. That's not a metaphor. He didn't attend his son's wedding because of his lawn. Family vacations were delayed or cut short because he had to cut his grass. We moved to be near them. Every weekend, without fail, we would invite them to go with us to the beach or a theme park or dinner, and he always declined. Because he had to mow his lawn. When we moved away from them, because they are incredibly toxic, he blamed me for poisoning his children against him. I wished him and his lawn eternal happiness. WTF have I just read? Seriously, it's grass, poor kids. I think your father-in-law might have a problem. Father-in-law. Why would anyone do drugs when they can just mow a lawn? He wanted to take advantage of his mower's headlights. So, do you happen to live in SC? My dad is named Mike and mowed his yard during an eclipse a couple of years ago but ended up coming in because of having a heart attack. Lol, sounds like something that would happen in SC. Carolina man only 2 steps below Florida man. Is your dad okay? They do go quiet. It's effing weird, man. I was in Montana for the last one. I drove several hundred miles to watch the eclipse in almost literally the middle of nowhere, and I can totally understand why so many cultures had superstitions about them. It's eerie. It's the middle of the afternoon and it feels like twilight. Birds stop singing, crickets start chirping, you can see the stars. Temperature drops too. I think this surprised me the most. I was, unfortunately, up in Maine during the last big one in 2017, where it wasn't even total coverage, and while we could see the partial eclipse, through the tinted glasses, one thing we all noticed is how it actually got a bit chilly for about half an hour or so, despite not even being that much darker outside. And nothing against Maine, I love it there, just wish I could have been in a better location with total coverage for the eclipse. I got angry reading this comment. Thank you for watching. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube. And share them with your friends. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Readers' new videos. We welcome your comments below. Another of our videos will begin shortly.